You're listening to Romancing the Dungeon, a softcore D&D podcast about heroes navigating their daily lives while looking for love in a world full of peril, monsters, and heartbreakers. This show is intended for mature audiences, as it contains adult themes. And not the thirsty softcore kind, in case that's what you're here for. Content warnings for specific episodes can be found in the episode description. Previously on Romancing the Dungeon.
Not for nothing around, but there was two of yous.
Yeah, I don't know where Una is.
This is me boss, Ronnie, and this is me other boss, Claudine. Absolute pleasure to have you here. Welcome to our little community, our little coven, our little artisan creative space. Thank you so much for trusting us to take you to safety.
No one has believed me. It's so unnerving to have people believe that I didn't do it.
Everybody here has a shadow. Something that chases them, something that haunts them. We have a job that we think you would be absolutely perfect for. Tell me, Fia, how good are you at disappearing? Fia, as you are wrangled into this very, very dark wagon, Claudine and Ronnie kind of shoving in behind you. At first it's a bit ghastly, you're like, what the hell? But it's a load of mannequins, all wearing kind of like loads of different like regalia and costumes. Some big and shiny, some very small and risque. There's a bang of Olga flopping bottoms off one or two that brings back kind of a flush to your cheeks.
And a shiver down my spine.
Okay, Sugar, you have a look through whatever it is that you want, whatever kind of catches your eye. Ronald. Ronnie is kind of like staring at you, and he's staring at some of the costumes, kind of like eyeballing one or two of the other kind of, and like she kind of grabs him by the ear. We'll let you get dressed in some privacy. There is a light around here somewhere, and you see she kind of half taps the wall. The door opens and she shoves Ronnie out, and it was like, "Mon cher, I was just helping the lady look for something to wear." Over her shoulder, not too long, mind you, the daylight's burning. You've got a performance to do, a town to impress, a whole caravan of performers to impress as well.
You really want me out on stage?
Yes,
straight away.
We work here for our food, and the door shuts. It's dimly lit. It's not pitch dark in here. Like, your eyes have kind of adjusted.
I have dark vision as well.
Even with the dark vision, it's very hard to see things. Like, there is a faint light from like a little kind of
like a crack or something
window. Like, you know, you can see it's kind of on a lip.
Okay.
So there's a little light coming in. This is obviously to protect the costumes from kind of sun damage and stuff like that. But yeah, you do. There's some really kind of bejeweled and bedazzled sort of sequenced gowns.
It's not the first time you stumbled on that word.
But yeah, and then there's full armor, like you can see, and they've taken chunks out of it. Like, that's paint. That's definitely paint. That's not blood. You're not going to look at it.
Yeah.
As you kind of rifle through the rack.
Little bits here and there catch my eye, like the ones with all the sparkles. I'm kind of like, oh no, I'll move those to the side. The skimpy ones, I'll move even faster to the side.
On the floor out
the back. They don't exist. And I guess my hands start falling on ones that are a little bit more, I guess, not as standout-ish. Like, I know the performers, obviously, like in Fia's house, like, okay, obviously they want me to wear something that stands out, but I kind of want to also still be wearing something that I can kind of disappear in as well. Something that fits and just make her feel comfortable that she can like disappear in.
Give me a perception check.
That's a nat 20 for 30 total.
Yeah, you are rifling through. There's a couple of wizard costumes, or what, you know, you'd imagine kids would like storybooks that you've seen, really sort of over the top kind of clown costumes that kind of run the gamut of like whimsical kind of mystical clown to that's the stuff of nightmares, that clown costume. There's more costumes here than there is performers. That's again, and maybe they've alternates, maybe, but
people have come and gone, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that kind of like, wow, there's a lot here. And as you are kind of rifling through it, it's really strange. You come across, it's just a vest. When you pick it up, when you go to pick it up, it is heavy.
Okay.
Like it's incredibly heavy. And the inside of it, you just see all these metal plates with all kinds of manners of like cabling and like stuff that like, remember that time you were in Marilla's Fortress of Aptitude?
Right, okay.
It's that same sort of like, oh, okay. But it's very
a little bit artificey. It gives those vibes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not just kind of like costumes for play or costume. This and like it does it. There is kind of like I said, there is a hefty weight in it as you kind of go to lift it. Whoever was wearing this clearly carried themselves. There's nothing else with it. It's just a vest. And then you hear a voice. It's that thing of, did someone call my name? Did someone outside say, well, you kind of wait and then there's just silence and something kind of catches your eye further back. You can see a shoulder and you just see this plume of jet black, inky navy feathers just kind of poking out, and there's a rustling, and your eyes are drawn to this silhouette. The mannequin, the costume is on a mannequin. There's something about it that like just, you can't take your eyes off of it. And then it almost seems to turn to face you. Little bird, give me a piece of your heart. I will make you anew and show you a truth who you are.
This is the voice that's kind of been asking
For
questions
the
of Fia.
Couple of weeks. This voice that you've been hearing, sometimes in dreams, sometimes in the middle of the day. You feel its presence. There is something back there.
I think as well, because like Fia was suffering exhaustion and stuff, the previous times that she heard it, like she thought it was a thing of her imagination. Whereas now, hearing it now when she's rested, a little bit of fear sinks into her. Who are you?
I am someone you will always know.
Well, you still haven't told me who you are.
Search inside yourself. I have been there all along. And you hear this fluttering of wings. And there's just this stillness in the caravan.
I guess I'm trying to shake it off because I'm really creeped out.
You move and you hear the jostling of jewelry and feathers. You're wearing a costume.
I'm even more freaked out, and I guess now that I'm dressed, I just kind of want to get out of here as quick as I can. Probably stumbling over stuff as I'm going, just wanting to get away.
As you you kind of spill into kind of a couple of the mannequins, and like a small box of kind of trinkets kind of spills over. You clamber to your feet, and as you kind of look up, you are looking into a mirror. You're wearing this feather and lace costume. These shoulders are accentuated by plumes of black and navy feathers. There is a plunging neckline that is filled with silver jewelry. that is tied and cinched at the waist by a black and purple leather corset. It feeds into kind of a bodysuit, but there is a long split skirt that traces to just kind of below your knee. And you're wearing a black lace mask.
Very much freaked out by the not remembering putting these clothes on, this entity that's been around her. She is literally just freaked out looking at herself in the mirror and stumbling to get out of this wagon.
You reach for the door and you spill out, and like the air hits you and you feel it fill your lungs, and like there is just a whistle. And then she's so pretty. She's a picture of the night. And then people kind of turn to look, and you see there are a couple of the other kind of performers, Nana, Sykes, Rash, all kind of turn to look. Nana has just given you 2 big thumbs up. Claudine kind of maneuvers over towards you. I don't recognize that one.
It was in there.
Oh, well, no, if it's in there and it fits and you're happy and you look, well, you look prettier than a picture.
Thanks. I'm
Come to think of it. And she takes a step back, and it's that thing she kind of goes to take you all in. Ronnie? And she kind of like, she gestures out to him and she kind of holds her hand out. He wanders up, eyes to the ground. What do you think? I whistled, and immediately Claudine goes to give him a clatter, and like he kind of laughs, and she laughs. You are the image of your mother.
I don't know if Claudine picks it up, but my face kind of drops a little bit.
So, Ronnie and I have a couple of the caravans to finish off some last minute supplies that we need to bring with us. I have asked that Nixie and Willow maybe show you a little bit of what they do, introduce you to some of the others. You're going on last. You've plenty of time to think about that final act of yours. Though, Fia... Yeah, obviously, it's your debut. We wanted you to close out the show.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
I just want to remind you, we want to finish with a bit of oomph and pizzazz. And Una could, that little disappearing trick of hers. Mother like daughter, right?
Yeah, but I can't do it as far as she can.
Oh, just away from the crowd, behind the curtain, wherever it is that you can go.
It has to be somewhere I can see.
Off stage, then you'll be fine. Just voomph and you're gone. Now, remember, we want the crowd on their feet. That means more money. That means tips. That means fuller bellies.
Do you have a bow and arrows by chance?
Look, you ask Nixie or Willow, they'll get you sorted with whatever it is that you are looking for. Bow and arrow. Ronnie kind of shrugs and maybe it could be very sexy. Who knows? Claudine kind of rolls her eyes, and the two of them kind of wander. You see them, they kind of wander off. Sykes and Nana are loading stuff onto a caravan. It just seems to be like kind of props and kind of parts of the stage kind of for decoration. All the time, Rash is just looking at you.
Give a little wave to Rash.
He kind of and turns his head and like goes into one of the kind of the tents and comes out with a case in his jaw and like hands it to Nana, who starts loading it onto a wagon.
I go over to Nana briefly. I just want to see, just to chat to her quickly, I guess. So I make my way across. I know I have to go and meet Willow and that, but I just want to quickly chat to her.
Well. Look at the legs on her, huh? Legs 211.
And kind of try and pull the slit closed on the skirt. I'm just wondering, are you sticking around, or are you leaving now that I'm here?
No, we're fixed here for a while.
Oh, that's good. At least I'll have a couple of faces here that I know.
And like Nana looks around. Oh, no, you've met Ronnie and Claudine.
I don't remember them.
No, but like you met them today. Like they're.
I know, I'm still getting used to them and stuff.
But they're good folk. They're like. Do you think the three of us would be here if we?
That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying it's just nice to see faces that I know and have known.
Gotcha.
That's all. I don't know if would you know of anyone who could help me contact my friends with magic or something? I guess I want to make sure they're okay.
Nana and Sykes look at each other. Probably best, Fia, that you maybe wait to visage, before you do that.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe don't say it to Claudine or Ronnie. They get a bit uppity when it comes to security for the troop.
No. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No, I'm not going to say that to anybody.
Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to you later, I guess, and I kind of
All right.
walk away a little bit defeated. Yeah, I go to find Nixie and Willow.
The troop is quite big, but not so big that you can't kind of find your way around. And there's a kind of a smattering of some tents, and outside it and inside, some of the other performers are checking over bits and pieces, and you find Nixie and Willow. Well, they're walking a tightrope, but it's made of water.
I kind of stop fascinated by it and enthralled by what they're doing, and really just admiring it.
Willow is on her toes, and it's that kind of on point.
On point,
for
yeah.
the kind of it's that she's that high up.
Wow.
And she has one hand out, and Nixie is resting on that with her hands, and they're walking straight. The other hand, you see Willow has kind of, this is what she's using to control the water. And there is just these plumes of clouds and fog just rolling out of Nixie as the two kind of move across it. When you see them reach the end, it's that thing where Nixie falls, like she drops, wraps herself around Willow, coiling herself. The pair land, and Nixie is in Willow's arms. They both kind of giggle to each other.
I think I break into like applause just straight away seeing them.
Oh, you're too kind.
Yeah, no worries. That was amazing, and makes me terrified of having to close the show.
That's just a warm up.
Oh, even more so now.
And then Willow kind of just like jabs Nixie. Don't mind her. Yes, we're warming up, but that's part of the act. It's just got to be loose and limber. I'm Willow. You've heard Nixie.
Yeah, nice to meet you again.
So, first time performing?
Ever, yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you, Fia. I can tell. You are a bag of nerves.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be.
I think
you look hot.
Well, yeah, but that's no good if I fall flat on my face.
The best performers fall flat on their face all the time.
Oh gosh.
Just make it look sexy.
Oh gosh, I can't do that.
What are you good at? Like what's your thing? What's your gimmick?
I'm quite good at firing arrows.
And that's a performance that you...
I've never performed. I don't know. I'm good at I don't know, doing a few somersaults and stuff, like when I'm like jumping across roofs and things like that. And
okay,
but really, my skill is like in like bouncing here and there and shooting arrows and stuff.
Okay, so what if you were to jump off of things and fire arrows at the same time? Like death-defying stuff.
I've never tried that before.
Well, there's always today.
Can I practice?
Yeah, I think there's... And kind of Willow looks around and you kind of see some of the other performers. There's a drow gentleman in the corner just throwing knives. So he throws a knife up into the air and then he sends out a flurry of blades, and They ricochet off each other. They hit multiple targets. Over to the other side, you see a human gentleman, dusty red hair, thickest mutton chops you've ever seen. He's sat on the floor, and there's this array of cards, and there's a crystal ball in front of him. He looks up at you, gives you a wink, and then sticks out his tongue, and it is silver. Don't mind Seamus. He thinks he can see the future. Can you see this, Seamus? And Willow flips him off, and then he flips her off back, and the both of them just kind of start laughing. Nixie comes back, and she has these 2 tall columns. They kind of look like, those ancient Greek pillars. We could probably put these up in front of like a ladder, and you could jump off of. You're okay with heights, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think this one, and she goes to kind of lift it, and as she does, like, you just see kind of the air whoosh around her, and the prop kind of wobbles back and forth. It's about 15 feet tall.
Okay.
And the other one, Willow, and the two of them together hold it up, and it's 25 feet tall.
Okay. Oh, wow, this is terrifying. Do we have a bow and arrows?
Talon, you did that arrow thing before the incident, right? It wasn't an incident. It was one death. And it was an accident.
Colour drains from Fia's face. Cheers.
Again, he just laughs. They didn't die. They lost a little piece of their ear. And you do see Seamus kind of just like fluff up some of the mutton chop to try and brush it into his hair and cover his ear. They all kind of have a little kind of a chortle to themselves. There's a trunk, and he kind of gestures over his shoulder.
I kind of have a little bit of fear of that person now, and I start jogging off towards looking for a trunk.
Give me a perception check.
Unnatural 20.
It's a little bit like the caravan. Now, its stuff is in order, but there's a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of chests and boxes. You do come across kind of a long trunk that there is a load of holes and things scratched into it. You do see etched into it in the same way that a teenager would in their copybook the name Talon and then property of. It kind of looks like one of the Forever Rock t-shirts, and that sort of like,
yeah,
we're edgy and cool.
Cool, yeah.
You lift up the clasp, and again, there is all manner of like crossbow. There's a couple of dart guns. There's a couple of whips. There is a short bow. There's a long bow. Some are broken. Some don't have a string. But you do. There is, and there's a couple of quivers of arrows. As you're kind of rummaging through, you can hear somebody mumbling to themselves.
I'm going to keep rummaging, but I want to kind of throw more of an ear towards that mumbling to see if I can pick up anything.
Heavens. Okay. Okay. What was it? Okay. So it was. Hands are out. Air goes up. Then the cog, and then you hear something drop, and there's just this ringing sound. Oh.
I slowly turn an eye towards that where the noise is coming from, just to not like startle them.
You turn, they're not in this tent, but they're behind it. They're obviously outside at the back of it. You can kind of make out very faintly a silhouette, and they're fidgeting with something.
I go out to have a look and see them. Sorry, are you okay?
Oh, and in that there is just this clanging sound again.
Can I try like go in and try and help stop stuff dropping after I feel like I've scared this person?
Give me an acrobatics check.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like flit in and see how you get on.
Yeah, 17.
It's in that moment that you kind of slip out of the tent, short bow and arrows at your side, moving around to the back, and they're at the edge of the tree line. You can see that there's this kind of a small clearing where there are these kind of boxes, and there's lots of little. They look like dolls, but weird. They look like they're made of like metal and stuff, and they're all at kind of different heights. They all look kind of slightly different, but in the kind of the middle of these, you do see a kind of a scraggly looking gentleman, pale green skin, and this kind of long spindling tail that droops. These two horns kind of jut out of the top of their head, and you can just see this kind of swath of like messy curls. They turn and there's a flash of worry in these hazelnut brown eyes. And you see a tiefling gentleman, and he seems to have been trying to fix something or repair something, and it looks like a doll, but it looks kind of like a little ballerina. You swoop in at the last second, catching it before it falls to the ground.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
Oh, please, and he goes to reach. It's almost perfect. You can tell Ronnie and Claudine. It's almost fixed.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. I get nervous too. I heard you drop something, and I wanted to make sure you were okay. I'm only new here.
And he goes to he takes the doll from you. As you were talking to him, he goes to check it to see if it's okay. You're okay, Ina. You're okay. And he goes to put her back on. Like you see that she was going to be sitting on this. It is a tower of boxes, but there is a cushion on it. They're little. They look like you've seen these little clockwork automatons before. Your dad would have them sometimes in the shop. They're these little sort of. You remember even maybe a toy or two that Quillo could have had, and that they would move, and then suddenly someone came with little enchantments, and they could do a little bit more. He wipes his eyes, and you see him kind of adjust some kind of spectacles over them. Hello, and he holds a hand out to you.
I take it and I shake it and I smile gently at him.
I'm Silas. I'm in the, and you are.
I'm Fia. It's nice to meet you.
Very good. I'm almost finished. I've checked them. They're all working. They're all working. They're all good.
They're really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, they remind me of ones I saw when I was a child, actually. Though I think yours are far more intricate than what I saw before.
You're just being kind. These are
no. I'm being honest. It's true.
I have to go back. I have to finish. Thank you, Fia.
No worries. And I'm sure you'll do great. And I'll talk to you later, okay?
And he kind of goes back to kind of fixing and adjusting.
I take off back to Nixie and Willow.
So why don't you try catch me for once? And you see the two of them, and like Willow kind of hops into Nixie's arms, and Nixie kind of goes to drop her. They kind of see you and they start laughing. Fia, we were thinking maybe you could like backflip off of one of these. Like do a tumble, do a roll. It's just shooting targets and jumping, and they kind of point over at the drow who is backflipping and rolling and throwing knives.
I don't know what else to do. I know I have to earn my keep, but even if there's something I could do in the background and help others, I don't like the spotlight at all. I'm not very good in it. And
yeah, Claudine and Ronnie aren't going to leave you in the back.
But I can do other stuff. I can like whatever else.
It's fine. Go climb. We've ladders. We put ladders in, and you see that while you were looking for the bow and you were chatting to Silas out back, they've fixed 3 ladders against a 25-foot pillar, a 15-foot pillar, and a 5-foot pillar.
Is there any targets or stuff around the place as well? Because there's no point in shooting arrows, I suppose, if there's no target that I could have, targets that I could have set up around the place.
There is. You can see there are a couple of posts that you could shoot at, but you don't see any kind of bullseyes. But again, it's one of those things that if he's throwing stuff, there's probably more of these things in the back.
Nixie?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, is there anyone who could help me? See where those pillars are? Could we have like a bell on them as well with a string attached that someone could ring the bell? might try hit the posts wearing a blindfold.
Okay, now. And Willow kind of leans in on like Nixie's shoulders. See, that, and they both look at Talon. That is artistry. Well, Nixie, why do I always have to get the stuff? Well, I'm the older one. I'm telling you what to do. And I carry you, so you carry everything else. And Nixie kind of flits off and kind of, her hair darkens like storm clouds a small bit. She comes back a couple of minutes later, and there is it looks like a bell you'd see. You've gone to a fair share of boxing matches with Quillo. It's that kind of big, there's a kind of a thick rope hanging out of it. This is what you've got to work with.
Just one, is it?
You need lots of bells?
Well, there's different pillars, so...
Okay. I'll roll to see what she can find when she goes back there. I'm not giving her advantage because she's kind of not arsed.
Gotcha.
She finds another 2 bells. She rolled a 14 plus 2. They do not look alike. I think we had someone that used to do a tea ceremony performance thing, and she rings it, and it is a soft little delicate little bell. Then there is something that looks a little bit like a shop bell. It's like a little brass metal bell on a coiled kind of spool.
Yeah.
I have no idea where this came from. Here, and she kind of starts to like fix them onto some of the posts.
Yeah. So maybe one down lower, one kind of mid-height, and one very high, if we could.
Yes, Your Majesty.
I'm sorry, I thought you were supposed to help.
And then Willow was like, wow, okay. First day here, and she's already bossing Nixie around.
I blushed really hard, like
no, that's a good
embarrassment.
thing. That's a good thing.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize to Nixie. She's the help. And Nixie is just seething at Willow.
What's the heights of the pillars again? Is it 10, 15, 25?
Your pillars that... No, 5, 15, 25.
5, 15, 25. Okay. I guess I could try something out.
So, this... because I want to keep this for the finale. You spend the next little while... I'm going to give you... You can add and take from stuff as you see fit.
Mm-hmm.
But you spend the time that you have practicing, getting your fix correctly, making sure that like the costume doesn't snag when you draw the bow.
I'd also want to be testing jumping distance between the pillars and stuff like that as well.
It's a thing of like it's, we start with I'm going to get my position, and then I'm going to jump, and then I'm going to get that down. And a little time passes, and you can occasionally some of the other performers flit out. They come back, they're dressed. Nixie and Willow disappear a couple of times. They change outfits a couple of times. They come back and they've got like bowls of soup and stew and kind of notches of bread, and like they are kind of like, you need to eat, and they make you stop to eat. When you kind of feel like you have it, you feel like you're ready, there is just and we have to, so you put your stuff out, and Nana, Sykes and Rash come to collect everything that the performers are bringing with them. It's literally not that far. We're like 20 minutes away in the caravans, so you can sit with us. You can sit with Nixie and me. Sure, thanks very much. Claudine and Ronnie kind of approach as like the rest of the gear is loaded onto the wagons that are going towards the town. You've got a performance ready? I have something. I don't know whether it'll be good or not, but I'm going to try. Well, I hope you try that it's good. I'll try my hardest to make it good. All we ask is that it's good. Okay. Remember, we want people on their feet. We want people enthralled. And Ronnie, the stuff, and he kind of looks at her. Okay? Ronnie. Of course. He disappears into one of the caravans. He comes back a moment later, and he's carrying you can see what's clearly an amulet, and a deep red velvet bag that has a kind of plush drawstring that looks like it's lined with like golden thread. So, we are all about our privacy here in the Faelight Cabaret. It's best that people don't know where to find us for our safety. Everybody, and she kind of shows you kind of under the collar of her blouse. She's also wearing an amulet of the same kind of color. This is just going to prevent anybody from tracking us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's okay. Sure.
And she looks at the bag and she takes it. She holds it very delicately up to you. Even with the mask, I think it's probably best, Fia, if you, while you're with us, wear this. And she puts a hand into the bag. She takes out this. It's a blank glass mask. You can see there's eye holes. There's a hole for the mouth, nostrils. It looks incredibly well made, but it's a glass mask. We kind of need to hide a little bit of your face is everywhere, sweetheart.
Okay.
It doesn't hurt. It's
wait, what hurt? What? It's just a mask, right?
No, it's going to. This is a mask of Narcissus. Okay, you haven't heard of one of these. This will alter your face, not permanently. As long as you wear the mask, your face can change to what you want it to look like.
Okay.
And we need you to not look like you.
That's fair.
I told you, Ronald. Practical. Intelligent. She's very good looking as well. I said that too. He moves towards the caravan. Best you put this on now.
Before we get to the town.
She nods.
Can I take it off when we're traveling and stuff?
We can discuss that after.
Okay. Sure. And I pop the mask on.
I know this isn't easy, but we'll be in Visage as soon as we can. And she follows behind Ronnie. It feels like the most delicate piece of glass you've ever held. And as you slip it up to your face, it's so cold for something so thin. And there's a moment where, as it sits, it feels as if it kind of becomes like a second skin. Where it was kind of rigid and fixed, you move your jaw, you kind of touch. Your face is pliable. You feel it sits in. And in that moment, your whole visage changes. Catching your reflection in the glass of the window on the carriage, what does Fia see now?
Sophia was I suppose her hero from books that she read that were not romance books. She loved this series called The Thunder Games. And there was a girl in it, Catty Evermoon, who she was, because again, a girl who spent a lot of time in nature, was, very good with a bow and arrow, and probably inspired Fia in a way to get into using that. Not just the fact that her mom had one, but reading about Cathy using it really inspired Fia to learn. So
we're so getting sued.
I know. It's the only thing I could think of. Come on. Her visage kind of changes to where her hair goes like a dark brown, and it's trailing down one shoulder in a French plait that starts off on the left side of her head and goes across down to the right, and a plait then down over her right shoulder. Her face kind of fills out a bit more because Fia, as we've said, is quite thin and raky, almost very much just up and down. So her face fills out a little bit and looks a little bit more, not that Fia doesn't look youthful, but looks a little bit more fresh. And then the same with the rest of her body then as well, just a little bit more voluptuous than what she was before.
There is that moment of it's the way in which you picture it's how you imagined Kathy from the book, in that way that everybody, when they read the description, we all see the character slightly differently.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that thing of like, there was kind of an unassuming kind of beauty about Kathy that very quickly we forget about, and then she's just stunning throughout the whole lot of the rest of the books.
Yeah.
And it's that version. It's the Kathy in full confidence. You know, she's a powerful warrior. She's a ranger. She's a protector. That's what immediately, when you put the mask of Narcissus on, when you think of beautiful, it is the beauty inside and outside. And there is a moment where you kind of like, is that me? Like, it's that click in your head. No, I'm Fia.
And then I would say there's probably a little wave of sadness as well that creeps over her, because realizing now, like really realizing now, that she's going to have to hide for the rest of her life.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. I just thought of it right now.
No, but it does.
Yeah.
Like the idea of like going town to town
and not being herself.
and not being her anymore for something she didn't do.
It's in that moment, as that thought kind of wells up, the door opens. It's like, you can stare at yourself in my palm mirror, and like Willow just kind of reaches a hand out for you to kind of come in.
Sorry, yeah, I got distracted. This is a little
we all saw.
It's a little bit jarring.
You're beautiful.
I'm different.
And she kind of gestures around. We all are.
You all wear these?
You know the whole shtick here. Some of us don't want to be found. You get used to it. You really get used to it. It takes time.
Yeah.
The door closes and like Nana gives you kind of a very puzzled look. I kind of mouth, yeah.
And I raise my shoulders and I'm like, I don't know.
And then you hear kind of one of the caravans in the front move out, and then this moves out. It's you, Nixie, Willow, and Talon in this caravan. You saw driving this, or kind of steering this caravan, Seamus, and kind of next to him, Silas is up front with a kind of a chest on his lap that he's kind of like barreled over, like protectively. For the next 20-25 minutes, as you kind of bundle through the woods and on kind of old roads, there's a little bit of chatter. Nixie and Willow are kind of talking about their routine. Occasionally, because they're whispering, but they're not being subtle about it, they are talking about Silas. I mean, Claudine and Ronnie have told him that, like, and Nixie kind of nods her head in agreement. I know, but I just feel so bad for him.
What do you mean? Would he not get to stay? Is something wrong?
Willow kind of sinks back, and Talon kind of goes to, like, he's picking his fingernails with one of the daggers, and Nixie kind of turns to you because she loves a gossip. It's just Silas's act is a little flat, and it's not really pulling in. Ever since Cogswold left, now he might get left.
As in left behind?
Everybody has to pull their weight, Fia.
That's kind of sad. I know it's... Oh, that's kind of sad.
It is sad, but...
Is that why there's so many costumes in the other wagon?
And Nixie kind of sits back. Mm-hmm.
Can I insight check that?
Yeah.
So for insight, 19.
Panic. It was very obvious. Nixie wears her heart on her sleeve and her emotions on her face. You just saw, it was that thing of, uh-oh, I said something I shouldn't have said. And she just, and she goes back to kind of like sitting there, and you see she starts to kind of fix some of her costume. You hear the very sudden change of the wheels on dirt road onto cobblestones, and you can hear music, and you can smell smoke, and there is the smell of frying food. You can hear the chatter of like a couple, like of a small crowd, and then there's a kind of a bang, bang, bang on the wagon. And the door opens, and Sykes is there. He pulls a lever, and kind of a step comes out, and Nixie and Willow go, "Smiles, Smiles, it's showtime," and they spill out into this. There is just this splash of water that sort of ripples out of the wagon down into a wave, and then up it parts, and Willow just kind of comes spinning out of it, spinning a long blue ribbon over her head. She just starts kind of twirling and kind of dancing into the crowd.
I guess I follow them, kind of just waving nervously and smiling at people.
Give me a performance check at disadvantage.
Damn you. Okay, that might help. I roll the same thing for both. 15.
You step out, and it is that thing of you follow behind Nixie, and where Willow came out into this wave that parted, and she came spinning out with it. Nixie topples and tumbles out of the wagon in a barrel roll midair, and it's this slow, she holds her hands out, and she kind of does a full body spin in the air. She lands, and a breeze spins up around her, and she just starts to juggle balls of air for this spectacle. As Talon kind of shoves past, he doesn't aggressively shove past you, but as he kind of let the pros go first, he steps out and he throws a knife up into the air and he swallows it.
Oh my gosh.
And then he throws another and he catches it between his teeth. He feathers them and then combs them, and then there's only one blade in his hand, and then he flicks his wrist, and then there's no blades, and then he opens his coat, and there is just a coat made of blades. And he again goes spinning into the crowd. There is a moment where you swallow a hard lump in your throat, and you step out of the caravan, and you feel the heat rise in your cheeks, like the embarrassment, a little bit like the way you're dressed, and then there's the worry of what if they recognize me, and you kind of almost go to kind of cover your face, and you can feel the mask just there, just on the surface. It's just that sort of like a cloth almost. And then you kind of hear an audible as the crowd turn to face you, and people are just staring at you in bewilderment as you wave and smile. Between the costume and the look, people are dumbstruck.
I don't know if the crowd recognizes, but my pace, I do kind of speed up a little bit to keep up with everyone else, still smiling and waving, and a little overwhelmed by their reaction as well.
You follow kind of like the procession behind you, and there's a handful of other kind of performers, acrobats, some kind of mimes and clowns kind of that have filtered through the crowd. And you do see that you're in the middle of this square. The town of Nice, town is a strong word. It looks a little bit like Nookery.
Okay.
It's that sort of that very tidy, it's 2 streets and a square, and these sort of mid-sized thatched, thick black thatched roofs with just croppings of dust, of snow dust kind of just clinging to the edges, heavy mahogany doors, tiny circular little windows. You do see in the square like a stage has been set up, and some of the kind of the stagehands, including Nana and Rash, are kind of fixing these kind of large props and stage decorations up around it. You're following behind Talon and Nixie and Willow, and they are kind of weaving through the crowd, kind of waving, and you see that a couple of the people inside are handing kind of like silver pieces and copper pieces to the performers. A rather red-faced, lanky half-elf boy stumbles into your path and just, without looking at you, raises a hand, and there's like a silver piece in it. You're real pretty.
I reach out to take it, and I just say, thank you very much.
She just said thank you. And like some of his mates are like, oh, go on. And like he's pulled, like they pull him in and they're like giving him a nuggie. And like he is red in the face. And like the crowd are like, they're kind of loving kind of the excitement out of it. People are still staring. You do see that the wagon that Claudine and Ronnie had let out with, that has parked up towards the front of the square. And Ronnie there's a flap that's opened and he's selling tickets and people are kind of spilling in. As you maneuver through it, the stagehands are quick. The stage is assembled and it looks like something from a fairy tale. These long spindling trees, the sun and the moon all fixed in against this black backdrop of just sprawling hills and mountains. And you see all these stars glittering and the sun and the moon rotate.
That's cool.
And the sky changes with it. And like that, you can kind of like, there's the smell of like honeysuckle, peppercorn, popcorn. You can hear like a smashing of kids like squealing with laughter, some erupting into tears. Like this is a thing and everybody is paying attention to you, but nobody's scowling, nobody's jeering. There's a little bit of it. Like, how does Fia feel?
Very out of place. Honestly, it's the first time she's ever experienced this, so she's never been good with attention anyway. So she doesn't know how to react to it. So she is just kind of she's very much focusing on smiling, waving, and walking to make sure that she doesn't look awkward.
As you see the other kind of performers pile in on one side of the stage, and you do see some of the other acrobats, a couple of them, like a barge or two, Silas and Seamus to the other side. You are kind of brought backstage and Claudine is there and she's wearing this absolutely, wow, like if you thought what she was wearing that morning was avant-garde, this is like, it's this long ringmaster's coat, but it is short in the front and there is just this glistening bodice underneath. She is pulled and cinched at the waist. Her bosom is heaving over the top of it, and you can see that there are flecks of glitter and paint kind of smeared into it. Her face is beat for days. It's this wonderfully ethereal smokiness that seems to shimmer when she turns. And her hair has, again, that sort of, that shimmering kind of glisten to it. It's slicked back and she's wearing this kind of hairpiece. It's like it's a little top hat and there is just a mesh of netting that kind of comes down over the front of her face a little bit. She's wearing these absolutely killer heels. And there's a moment, Fia, where you kind of go, I think Kyle had a pair of those. That thought kind of comes to you a little bit. And then there's a pang of that when you remember the name. And when the pang hits you, when that sadness hits you and you feel it in your heart. Something catches you in the corner of your eye, and sitting in the crowd, there's a woman dressed all in black, her face covered by a veil. Wow, okay. I don't think I've ever just walked through the crowd and waved and been handed a silver piece. Willow kind of just jostles you a little bit.
I'm sure you have.
Not without doing some flips and tricks and making water shoot out of everything.
I'm very distracted. I'm like, my eyes keep flitting to that woman in the crowd.
When you turn back,
gone.
She's gone. Claudine kind of comes round. Big crowd. It's the last show in Noice? Nice? What did we settle on? Noice, someone says in the background. No, I don't think it was Noice. We'll go with Nice for Ronnie. And then you just hear, Moshe, I'm not dead. You don't have to honor me like that. And he's wearing something very complementary to hers.
Okay.
He's wearing a full suit, where Claudine is kind of like, that sort of like hourglass figure. Ronnie is built. Like, Ronnie is stacked.
He's a tanky.
Yeah. And in a way that he wasn't, like has he
Is he also wearing one of the masks as well?
Has he stuffed his shirt? Yeah. Is he wearing a bit of padding underneath it? They both look amazing.
Yeah.
Like, there is, and like his hair is also slicked back. And something you hadn't noticed before is there is just this streak of gray, like this stripe of gray in his hair, that now that he's pulled it back and slicked it. Okay, everybody, hands, circle, hands. And you see the performers they form a circle, and everybody, Claudine takes your hand, and then Nixie takes your other. Okay, so breath in.
Fia copies and also looking around at everyone. Like,
And everybody's following. Everybody's eyes are shut. And exhale. We thank the gods, and in their honor, we devote this service. May the applause be followed by the echoing of 1,000 silver and gold pieces bouncing off the stage. And there is kind of a chuckle from the group. Okay, everybody, have a great show. Remember, smile, perform, on their feet, rapturous applause. Let's hope it all goes well tonight. And her eyes lock on Silas. And you see the tiefling fella kind of shrink into himself a little bit.
oh gosh, I feel oh, it hurts my heart. I guess when people are starting to get their positions and stuff, I kind of side over to Silas and I pop a hand on his shoulder. I'm like, don't worry, you'll do great.
As you go to rub him, Claudine and Ronnie move off from a kind of off stage and out onto it, just kind of holding her hand up and out. Her voice booms across the stage, and you just hear, ladies, gentlemen, and marvelous creatures, one and all, in between and both and neither. I am Claudine Moonshine, and this gorgeous specimen next to me is lucky to call me his wife. And Ronald does a backflip and then flexes his muscles, and the shirt bursts. And he gives kind of a wink and a... Before you this evening, we have scoured the world of Arcanum. Under the blazing sun and the watchful twin moons, we have scoured every corner of this wonderful world to bring you some of the most amazing, talented, mesmerizing, deadly, gorgeous performers you've ever seen. So dig deep, clap until your hands are sore, and give it up for the Storm Sisters. And there is just this boom of thunder, and a wall of water just rushes the stage as Claudine and Ronnie disappear in a puff of smoke. And Nixie and Willow, who were beside you a second ago, are now spinning across the stage on a water wheel. And the two of them begin this amazingly intricate dance, weaving air and water between them. And the crowd, there is just a stunned silence. Silas just kind of, they're perfect. They're working. I've checked, and a break a leg, but not an actual leg. In the just good luck. And he goes back to kind of the trunk, and he starts checking over the dolls again.
As he runs off, I'm like, thanks, Silas. You too.
Is there anything you want to be doing at this stage? Because like the Ganassi are out performing at the moment, and Claudine and Ronnie are at the other side of the stage.
I guess I'm just because I'm backstage and stuff, I'm thinking about my own performance, but I'm also looking around at the workings of everything that's going on and like what people are doing and stuff. And there's just a level of awe there at this whole setup that they have, and how it just seems so, it seems so tightly run and quite flawless so far from what I've seen.
Okay. So is it that you're just, are you like...
It's just analysing everything, basically.
Okay, yes, that was my question. Was it kind of, I'm just having a bit of a nose, or am I trying to figure things out? So that's like, it's like, am I just looking, or am I...
Oh no, I'm analysing it all, yeah.
Investigation check, I think, is the most appropriate thing there.
19?
Again, you do see stagehands that are kind of looking after props and kind of getting the next act ready, and the Talon, the drow blade dancer, is kind of, you see him kind of stretching, and he's kind of just checking the knives over. He's kind of up. A few others are kind of working pulleys. And you're like, you can see that's obviously what's controlling the rotating sun and the moon. Mm-hmm. It's that, like, it is that thing, like, it is all together. Like, there is so much of it, but there's something else. You can see like that sky that like changes with the light, and you can see the flickering of the stars. Like, even the sun and the moon, as they shift, they glow. And you see that the trees like kind of illuminate as well. It's that thing of like, as you kind of get closer, they have very similar markings to, like you saw it in the vest. The stage decorations seem to be, as much as there's pulleys and there's hands involved, there's magic in these as well. You're not sure what, because it is that thing of like, the vest reminded you of the Fortress of Aptitude and how that was doing stuff, and you could see kind of the magic, those, whatever they were called, those lines that were running through the house. See similar kind of mechanizations in place here, but you don't know what necessarily they're doing, because the human man and the dwarven woman that are on the pulley are kind of rotating it. What's the magic doing? The evening rolls on. Talon tumbles out. You don't see Seamus. He's not a stage performer, but like, he is out in the crowd and he's doing kind of readings, and you can kind of, you see that like there are all these kind of like acrobats and like dancers that are kind of in between acts, still out there, still entertaining. The crowd are, no one leaves their seats. Like, everybody seems like enraptured with the whole thing. Like, there is this whole thing has their full attention. You kind of find yourself kind of like, as you're kind of staring at these things, you kind of find yourself kind of like, yeah, this is something that you can't take your eyes off of. And then something changes. You hear the clanging of metal. Oh no! 1 second, and the curtain drops, and you see Silas is ushered off the stage by one of the stagehands holding Aina, the ballerina automaton, and it's broken. And behind him, then Nana comes kind of pushing kind of one of the crates with some of the other automatons on it. He seems like completely shaken. The curtain lifts, and there's a... So sorry about that, folks. All part of the act, obviously. An applause for Silas. We bring our spectacle to an end this evening with a surprise, a treat, something that you won't want to take your eyes off. Because as quickly as she appears, she vanishes. Give it up for the spectral raven. Some of the stagehands are kind of ushering you out. You see that your pillars kind of rise up out of the stage, and the music kind of blares at this really kind of haunting, ethereal music.
I take a really deep breath and like roll my shoulders back and give my neck a twist. And I just quietly say to myself, just do the best you can. Be fine. A deep breath out. And I go to walk out.
Give me 3 checks. I want 3 rolls from you. They
Okay.
can be attack, skill, whatever it might be, but I need 3 from you to determine the success of your performance. And then as you tell me what they are, what is Fia's performance? What is she about to do?
So she walks out into the middle of this arena in front of the pillars so that people can best see her. And the first thing she does is, with her bow in one hand outstretched, she takes a deep bow. And as she's bowing, her echo manifests beside her in the same position with the opposite hand out, and they both stand up together. And the echo goes off to one of the bells.
Okay. There is kind of, as the echo appears, there is a gasp from the crowd.
I think next thing then, it's probably going to be an acrobatics check to get up onto the middle-sized pillar.
Okay.
So that would be a 16.
Fia runs towards the lower pillar, hands up onto it, and springboards up straight as an arrow and lands kind of spiraling down flat. It's that sort of like Black Widow land on a very, very small platform.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the crowd, there is kind of a gasp from the crowd.
The next one then is she's going to put on the blindfold. And this is where she's going to do a perception check to hear where the bell is ringing for where she's going to aim her attack.
Okay. So I want the perception check, and then I'm going to, depending on the roll of this, plus or minus, not disadvantage, plus or minus the roll.
Gotcha. So 17.
Okay. Over the kind of the whispering of the crowd and kind of the tension, you can hear the Echo Knight is ringing. It's the little shop doorbell that they're ringing.
So kind of possibly hearing that off to my side. My body doesn't move, but my arms do in the direction to shoot an arrow at that pillar where the bell is, from where she was practicing earlier.
Okay. So I'm just I'm going to take -3 off of you, because it could have been a -10 for the attack roll. So -3 on your attack roll.
Okay. That would make it a 17.
The blindfold on and the ringing of the bell, you spin. It is that sort of like, well, if I'm going to be dramatic about it, I'm going to spin. And as you do, it is that full spin, you loose the arrow and it hits. As you leap to the 25 foot, it is that thing of you throw yourself forward. And again, there's a ringing of a bell, you turn, you spin, and this time you bend and you twist your back and you shoot. You fall to the ground, again, catching yourself. And as you land, you fire. And there is the third bell rings in time. And the crowd are up on their feet, stomping, clapping. In that moment, you hear Claudine's voice, that thing of like, remember.
So to finish it off, my echo is going to shoot an arrow at me. I'm going to, before it hits, bonus action, Raven Queen, backstage.
Claudine's voice, the kind of that, like, remember, she wasn't subtle about it. We need you to vanish, like mother, like daughter. It's that thing of like, you turn to face the Echo Knight, and you see that it has, and like the crowd are like, there's silence where there was a rupturous and like people screaming and roaring and like calling out for the spectral raven. You can see kind of behind the Echo Knight, like Nixie and Will are like, Talon is like chewing his lip. Claudine and Ronnie are like giving you thumbs up. The lights from the sky, the backdrop, the stars, the moon, the sun, they are pulsing with energy. Like there is just this glow of the bright lights. And the Echo Knight pulls, the arrow flies free. And you, out of the corner of your eye, see a woman dressed all in black. She pulls back the veil. The hood falls free. And just this mountain of purple hair spills out. I have always been with you. I am the Raven Queen. You've lost your blessing, and the arrow strikes you into the shoulder. and you fall backwards as the curtain drops and there is a gasp from the audience. And we leave the session there. You've been listening to Romancing the Dungeon with Louise and myself, Declan, as your Dungeon Master. Big thank you to Stephen Tynan and Abby Soiree for our theme song Fight for Each Other. Season 3 title card artwork for our podcast is by Dahi C Designs. A little behind the scenes for everybody, I think. When we edit, we send out drafts to the team, but because these are very special episodes with just myself and Louise playing, we're working together on these. And Louise edited this episode in particular. And I just want to say hats off for the sound design, the music choices, everything comes together. There's really wonderful moments in this that I hope you felt via trepidation or a little empathy for Silas. If you want to find out more about kind of behind the scenes stuff, who we are here at D8 Dungeon, you want to check out any of our other shows, stay up to date with any events and stuff that we're doing, you can check us out on all social media platforms at D8 Dungeon. Why not head over to our Discord server, where we are frequently looking for new players to join games. We have some of the best, funnest, coolest people on the planet there. I'm going to leave it there. I hope that you have a great weekend. I hope you have a great week. We're back in 2 weeks' time for another episode. And until then, mind yourself. Bye. I'm so glad you did that. I was like, I hope she does the blessing of the Raven Queen. I hope she does the blessing of the Raven Queen.
That's the only way I could fucking disappear.
Well, I thought you were going to do something with the Echo Knight. I was like, damn it.